Have you guys ever wondered what our stomachs do? Sure, they hold food, but do they do anything else? Well, we've been covering the human body and how its various organs work together to keep us all healthy. Did you guys know that the food that we eat every single day is what keeps our organs fueled up and in working order? That's why it is so important to make sure that what we are putting into our bodies is nutritious and really good for them. Nutrients are going to be compounds that are found within our food that help our bodies function. So we're going to take a little bit closer look into how our stomach breaks down the things that we eat. For this activity, I need for everyone to make sure that they have a plastic bag, a marker, a few crackers, and a little bit of Sprite. Does everyone have all four materials? I didn't forget anybody? Okay, good. We are going to start by drawing a stomach on our plastic bags. So we have our plastic bags, we have our marker, and we're going to draw our stomach. We covered the stomach a little bit yesterday. Do we all remember what the stomach looked like? Do we have an idea of what to draw? If not, I'm going to draw mine, and you guys can take a look at mine and see just a general idea of what you need to draw. It definitely does not have to be perfect. So we're going to start with our esophagus, and it's going to come down into our stomach. And everyone here knows that I am no artist. And our stomach is going to let out into another tube, which is going to be the small intestine. Can everyone see that? Here's our stomach. Here is our esophagus, our stomach, and then lets out into our small intestine. And this is going to be where the majority of the food is going to be in our activity. All of the food that we are going to eat is going to get broken down into what? Thomas. Yes, energy. Very good. Okay, so we are going to fill our stomachs with some crackers. 4, 5, 6 maybe. Just put some crackers in there. And that's going to be inside our stomach. So the stomach is going to start digestion by churning and squeezing the food that we place into it. This will break the crackers down into smaller pieces, and it's often why we hear our stomachs growl. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to crush our crackers up inside our bag. And you can see at the bottom, we're getting some really tiny little pieces. So we have our food broken down pretty good. There's still kind of some bigger pieces left, but now our stomach is going to add hydrochloric acid. I know. It sounds a little bit crazy that our stomachs have acid in them, but our stomachs also have a very special lining of mucus on the inside of them that protects the rest of our tissues from this acid. So we are going to go ahead and add our own hydrochloric acid to our stomach, and it is going to be our Sprite. So I'm going to open this up. Okay, and we are going to add a little bit of it to our stomachs. Not a whole lot, you don't need a ton. And we are going to make sure that this gets zipped up really well. We don't want any of our acid coming out. Let me get all the air out of it. So here's our hydrochloric acid. And we're going to make sure that we are still churning the food that is within our stomach, because our stomachs are always going to be churning the food. If there's something in it, our stomachs are working on digesting it into tiny little pieces. It's starting to look kind of like baby food or evaporated milk or something like that. So we are doing a pretty good job of breaking these crackers down into mush. Okay, we really don't have any big pieces left anymore. It's mostly pretty watery. It's kind of gross, isn't it? So this process will keep going for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. We're definitely not going to do it for 2 to 4 hours because these are just a few crackers and this process goes pretty quickly for us. But for the stomach, it's going to take a little bit longer. Yeah, it looks really gross. But once the stomach has all of the food broken down like this, it is going to send it to the small intestine, and the small intestine is going to absorb the nutrients and the water out of it for use in the body. So, like I said earlier, it is super, super important that the things that we are putting into our stomachs are really healthy and really good for us. If we tried to fill up a car with something other than gasoline, it probably wouldn't work very well. It may not run at all. And our bodies are going to kind of be like the car. So we need to have really specific nutrients in order to survive and thrive. Nutritious foods might be fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, meats, but everything should be eaten in moderation. You shouldn't have a ton of one or the other. You should have a very balanced diet. So we are going to be taking a look at the food pyramid next, which is going to guide us and help us decide how much of something we should have in our diet. It's a really great resource if you aren't sure about how much of some specific type of food you should be eating. So we will be moving on to that next.